In our mind, certain images are used for us to initiate our will. These images have properties. They allow one to change their position. Their position from one point of view to another. I'll read to you chapter 1 from Gray's Inner Traditions of Magic. It is a discussion on talismanic images. Talismics, or working with magical images. What exactly are the talismanic images? We read about it in connection with the magical arts and practices. A precise definition is not easy. It would be simply to say that a talismanic image is an imaginary creation, having an existence apart from the conscious of its creator. A kind of heavenly hallucination, in fact. But this would be far from, indeed, the actual truth. A so-called talismanic image is a perfectly genuine inner construction of force and form, designed for a particular purpose, and having as much, if not more, reality in its own dimensions than we have in our outer terms. What does he mean by outer terms? Today you use the word reality. It is a composite creation, brought into being as a concretion of consciousness, inspired by the spirit, animated by the soul, molded by mind, and based upon body. A talismanic image is in fact made up very much as we are ourselves, except that it objectifies on levels of existence that to us are subjective. Its main function is that of an operative focus between our inner and outer states of being. We all make talismanic images of some kind, either individually, collectively, or both. Children make their own imaginary friend, for personal reasons, or subscribe to Father Christmas in the Western tradition as a kind of group talismanic image. Later, we objectify or personify inner energies in different ways, seeing them as deities, spirits, angels, or other entities. The figure, the Christ figure, the Buddha figure, are mass talismanic images. A talismanic image does not have to be humanoid in formation. Species of talismanic images are commercially constructed as brand images and the like, or made into national figures and so forth, such as an eagle, such as a falcon, such as a chicken, or it could be the head of a boar. The principles in construction are similar throughout, but purposes and practices concerned with talismanic images are very different. We shall deal here with what are specifically called magical images, or talismanic images connected with the hidden side of our lives, as distinct from those linked with the commerce, religion, kingdom, politics, or other categories that we encounter in our continuum. If we look back and find out why such creations of consciousness were called talismanic at all, you can look at the Greek root of the word to explain the meaning. It will reveal quite a lot. Telos, T-E-L-O-S, signified the fulfillment or accomplishment of anything, its end product to come about or happen. Telo had a side significance of an initiation in the mysteries. That means of the body. The full suggestion of a talismanic image, therefore, implied an image which accomplished some end for initiates of the mysteries. It is this sense that it is a purpose to approach talismanic images at present. The first thing noticeable about talismanic images is that they are categorical. Even in the old days, there was a rain deity, a thunder deity, a mother deity, a sun deity. The images were definitely typified, and indeed still are, because that is how they work. Each image has its particular type of consciousness, which it embodies and expresses. You might equally say that every specialized type of consciousness, let me read them again. You might equally say that every specialized type of consciousness produces its own particular image or reaction in perpetual terms to those life entities making use of it, including ourselves. This link with the inner existence. No genuine talismanic image in the mysteries is the outcome of some human mind inventing images to please itself, and yet all initiates are responsible for making their own talismanic images, which will link with others of the same species, and indeed throughout all consciousness. Along the line, the better job initiates make of their talismanic images, the closer context they will be able to establish with channels of consciousness beyond the range of human detection. No human is normally aware of the electromagnetic energies immediately around them that transmit information such as radio, television, phone conversations, machines talking to machines. Yet you need a translator, such as a radio set, a phone, a transduction device, a transducer, and a television set. Yet all of these waves are projecting their own consciousness in the same way. A talismanic image is just as much a construction from an engineer in its natural state of being as a radio set, which consists of electromechanical contrivance of matter. The talismanic image, in its way, fulfills all and more of the radio functions in terms of inner existence, linking with the outer life. A physical radio cannot convey love, beauty, sympathy, protection, or any of the direct energies that we recognize as more divine than human. Well-made talismanic images are capable of dealing with exactly such types of energy on supra-physical levels. Talismanic images are the objectifications through which we grow. Let me read that again. Talismanic images are the objectifications through which we relate ourselves with the realities of inner existence, just as we relate ourselves with those of outer life, by means of images concerned with it, such as the image of family, portion. Let me read that again. Just as we might relate ourselves with those of outer life by means of images concerned with it, such as images of family, position, status symbols, or any such creation of consciousness, for that is what they are. We do not usually question the reality of physical individuals and objects with which we have contact in material ways, and the reality of inner entities is of equal validity in their own state. The object of talismanic images is used here in most mystery workings is to act as a sort of halfway, a figure capable of energy transference between the worlds. Here, the archetypal image of mother, father, teacher, lover, etc., which have their intrinsic values commonly are to both states of being. If consciousness is real, then we and they are real, but if not, none of us exists. Although a talismanic image may quite well be a symbol or any kind of objective representation, we generally think of a magical image as being humanoid in type, possessed of special faculties, far beyond the capabilities of mortals. There would be no point in a magical image portraying less potency than that possessed by ordinary humans. Images of such a nature would be valueless, except for amusement or annoyance. We make and unmake them all the time. A true magical image is the product of many minds and souls over a great period of time, and as such has its own immortality. Generation after generation of humans and a whole continuum of other entities have combined to produce the magical images used both in and out of the mysteries. When millions of individual minds think in the same pattern for thousands of years, it is a question whether they produce the patterns or the patterns produce them. Man was said to have been made in the image of God because the image of man constantly attempts to project the divine image out of itself. In the case of a mirror image, one is a real reflection and the other a reflection reality. In the case of a mirror image, one is a real reflection and the other a reflected reality. But what reality reflects which? All human beings build up images of one kind or another. And indeed, image building is now a very highly paid occupation, producing a marketable commodity for those wealthy enough to buy themselves a false front behind which to pursue their particular activities. This is known as branding. Such constructions were once a homemade business, but like most private enterprises have now developed into impersonal commercial concerns. They offer you an image for sale, just like an idol seller in ancient times. There is little difference between ancient and modern image merchants, except in degree. Idolatry has always been a practice condemned by the very mysteries using the most technical kinds of imagery themselves. Why is this? What is the difference between one use of imagination and another? Let's find out further. The section is entitled Ideals, Not Idols. It is all a question of attitude and intention. If we use images to embody our worst faults and act as screens of our weaknesses and stupidities, this is certainly idolatry of a nasty kind, especially if we allow the image to dominate us into a state of subjugation. Let me read that again. If we allow the image to dominate us in a state of subjugation to what it represents. On the other hand, if we employ images for the figures of forces by which we progress towards even better and finer conditions of being, this is the imagery of the most helpful sort. The decisive issue is whether we accept an idol or an idea. Whether the image involves or devolves us, motive in imagery must always be its mainspring. We and other images will always reflect each other into states of our respective realities. The telesthetic images of the holy mysteries are not idols, but ideas.